It's the microchip crisis that threatens to cripple China's economy. A new export control order from the Biden administration has cut off Beijing's access to advanced microchips, preventing its military advancements and threatening to derail the country's economic growth. This begs the question, why can't China make its own microchips? This video will reveal research on this looming chip crisis, ranging from the impact it could potentially have to the underlying technologies needed to develop these microchips. Make sure to tune in until the end when we reveal the microchip technology secrets behind the chip crisis.
New export controls in the US from the Biden administration have cut off China's access to advanced microchips, affecting Beijing's military advancements.
The Biden administration of the United States ratcheting up the pressure on China. And what we see now is the United States, the Biden administration taking as many steps as possible to try to limit China's access to these emerging technologies, quantum computing.
When the Biden administration puts a block on US microchip tech being sent to China, it's like a date night gone wrong. China's not getting any dessert. The ramifications of the sanctions won't be pretty, as even Singapore's prime minister has predicted. With China being the top manufacturer of most things, denying them access to microchips is their version of no means no. So why did the US take such drastic action? Let's investigate.
And now the US has turned to another theater of conflict, the South China Sea. America has sent an aircraft carrier to the region. China responded with a military exercise.
Comes amid heightened tensions between the US and China over technology, Taiwan, and China's tacit support of Russia's war in Ukraine.
At the same time, a veteran Singaporean diplomat is calling on tech industry players to speak up against the geopolitical contest. The contest neither benefits the United States nor China.
You must recognize the significance of microchips in, well, modern civilization in order to comprehend the severity of the US-imposed sanctions. Microchips are necessary for the operation of nearly everything, from your phone, to your washing machine, to your TV, to your vehicle, and even your airline flights. The multiple functions that microchips perform in your devices enable them to work smoothly and efficiently. The process is more effective the higher the grade of the microprocessor. This is obviously a more simplistic explanation, but you get the gist. It's no secret that China is the world manufacturing giant, and yet their microchip tech game has been lagging. To make up for it, they've turned to imports to keep their gears turning. But with only 15% of global output originating from China, this reliance on others for microchips has become more apparent. It looks like these tiny chips are critical in ensuring China stays at the top of the manufacturing game, and clearly, this is exactly what the US is targeting. Before you get all the juicy info on US-China relations, take a sec and subscribe to our channel. You won't want to miss out on other economic climate news. Just ask China who got cut off. But before we dive into all that, let's talk about what this cutting off really means. Last October, Biden hit China with a slew of export controls, and one of these was cutting off access to certain semiconductor chips, made in the US or using US resources. The aim? To contain Beijing's tech and military advances. But it's not just the Chinese military that will feel this. Biden is dead serious with this decision, and has been ramping up the intensity ever since. Don't underestimate him, as it looks like more than just chips are at stake here. The Biden administration just doubled down on China and microchip production, blocking physical chips and cutting off access to the know-how of making semiconductor products. This means that China can no longer benefit from American expertise or resources in their chip-making ambitions. But it doesn't stop there. The US government has also prohibited US citizens and green card holders abroad from working with specific technologies for Chinese companies. This has been a harsh blow to many experts in the industry, who are American expats in China taking advantage of US relations for R&D purposes. America is sending a definite message. We're tightening our grip on microchip exports, and China better watch out. However, the adventure seems to have ended at this point. The fact that this was effectively turned off immediately by the Biden administration will be a devastating blow to Chinese businesses. This was seen as a move to thwart President Xi Jinping's re-election plans due to the fact that they were announced immediately before the CCP Congress chose to reappoint President Xi. Perfect timing, right? If such was the case, then it is safe to state that it did not work. But that does not mean that they have been or will not continue to be effective in the near future. While you think this may just be a small policy change, the US has hit China with a sanctions hammer, halting shipments of technology to Chinese-owned factories. The top tool makers, KLA Corp, Lam Research Corp, and Applied Materials Incorporated are feeling its effects, and China is certainly not happy. It's no surprise that these are some of the most powerful companies in the world, but what's more surprising is that these sanctions make for the biggest shift in US policy towards shipping tech to China since the 90s. With this in effect, it looks like an economic war has begun. If successful, as they will undoubtedly be, they might cause the support for some of China's top manufacturers and chip designers to be cut off, which would set the country's chip manufacturing industry back years. I make this statement because it'll take China years to build up its own infrastructure and intellectual property to the point where it can produce its own microchips that can compete with those made by Taiwan, the United States, Japan, and other major world powers. Whoa, Biden really dropped the hammer on China. Looks like the CCP is about to feel the heat after the US government released new export controls. Guess those folks who got scammed by bad crypto projects finally have some company. Talk about a powerful statement from Uncle Sam. Now China can't even get their hands on advanced computing chips. Good luck to them trying to manufacture semiconductors and build supercomputers.
Well, China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology reportedly met with leading semiconductor companies over the past week, seeking to assess the fallout from the Biden administration's chip restrictions on China.
We have heard that China's top technology regulator, MIT, has gathered a number of the chip companies in China to assess the damage, the fallout from these Biden export curbs, and pledge what they can to support the companies in the future.
So, let me make this perfectly clear. It won't be a walk in the park for either side. This chip ban packs one wicked punch. The chip ban is a clear-cut statement of China and the US's true standing in the geopolitical arena. As Bill Bishop notes, it's a hefty escalation that will have a ripple effect on tech supply chains and future developments, not to mention the state of their delicate relationship. In his Sinocism newsletter, he said, "We are still trying to understand the impacts of the new controls, and frankly, I think many underestimate just how significant they are, both for technology supply chains and future developments, but more broadly for the US-China relationship." When Bill Bishop talks, the world listens, and it turns out there's no shortage of intelligence to back up his theories. Josip Bori from Global Data has another theory. This is about AI domination, with all its implications for the fifth industrial revolution and global economic leadership for the years to come. So, if you're looking for a peek into the future, listen in on what these experts have to say. The chip war is a big deal, and it's not just about chips, but about who takes the lead in the global economy. TSMC, SK Hynix, and Samsung are feeling the heat, and even S&P Global Ratings have noticed, claiming Asia-Pacific tech issuers have enough strength to last a year. But what happens after that? The long-term implications of this aren't looking too rosy. I'm sure you're sitting there thinking, but China can make their own chips. Don't kid yourself, they can't. There's a 4 to 5 year gap in technology between their domestic factories and the US suppliers like KLA Corp, Applied Materials, and Lam Research. That's an eternity in the microchip industry. Forging ahead with independent production would take at least $1 trillion to complete, so it looks like they won't be able to catch up anytime soon. But we must realize that even though China may suffer greatly in the short run, I believe they will triumph in the long run. Why? Well, think about it this way. Now that they've been sanctioned and don't really depend on American-made microchips, the Chinese market will be significantly impacted. On the one hand, the new regulations will undoubtedly encourage Chinese chip manufacturers to expand and create cutting-edge chips by utilizing inventive engineering techniques. They are forced to act independently in the absence of American supplies in order to avoid being caught off guard once more. China will be compelled, whether they like it or not, to focus its industrial capacity on developing technology and use the service outside of China. Technology self-sufficiency is crucial, and Xi Jinping has prioritized it. Because of how crucial it is, Xi Jinping made it the focus of this year's Congress by highlighting the animosity of foreign adversaries. Their own technology will eventually catch up to that of the US, creating fierce competition in a market where there previously wasn't any, at least not from China. Several American businesses would suffer significant revenue losses as a result of alienating the Chinese market, it is said. One of the businesses that has expressed its concerns regarding the trade sanctions on China is the graphics card manufacturer, Nvidia. By cutting off China, they would essentially lose over $400 million in revenue per quarter. That's gotta sting. Numerous businesses are also impacted, and they will undoubtedly whine as time goes on. We have yet to see what China will do. For the time being, the China Semiconductor Industry Association expressed its hope that the United States government will reconsider its decision and return to the processes of international trade negotiations. The world is watching for a response from Beijing. It looks like we're in for a wild ride, as the Singapore and Australian prime ministers have both declared that these actions will create an unsteady international climate. Just how much can we handle? Only time will tell, so buckle up and keep watching our videos. It's sure to be a bumpy, yet thrilling journey.